Hey you all, in this video I'm going to walk you through a few practice problems in order to give you an example of how to use the math of dimensional analysis to convert between two units. This is the exact same math that you're going to use on your fourth summative from week 17, applying dimensional analysis. You can see on my screen here I've got the 4 steps that you're going to do every time you do a dimensional analysis problem. In the template I've given you to organize your math. Remember, you can always do this on paper if it's easier and just take a picture of that math and put it in your summative. So the practice problem I'm going to show you how to do the math with is right here. How many inches are in 45 centimeters? So I'm going to go through these 4 steps in order to convert from this unit from this unit centimeters into inches. Step 1, identify the units. What units do you have? In other words, what's given? And what units do you want? In other words, what's the answer unit? What am I converting into? Start by naming that and organize your problem accordingly. For example, what do I have? I can see in the problem, I know that I have 45 centimeters. That is a known value. It is given in the problem. So I'm going to start by writing that on the left. 45 centimeters. What units do you want? You can see in the problem, it's asking how many inches. That's what I want at the end of this problem. So I'm going to write that right away. Inches on the far right, I'm just abbreviating it to IN. It's the symbol or abbreviation for inches. So, one last thing as I'm setting this up. This first number, 45, I can treat like a fraction over 1. Any number divided by 1 is the same number, right? 45 divided by 1 is still 45. So, in math, I can set up this fraction over 1 or any whole number I can put over 1 and it's still going to be the same number. It won't affect the math. So we're going to start by doing that. Put that first number over 1. Since there's nothing like miles per hour, which would be the bottom part of the fraction, since there's nothing there, we're just going to put a 1. So I've set it up by identifying the units and I put them in the right spot. Your template on your summative just has these first 2 rows. It doesn't have these helpful hints at the bottom. By watching this video, you'll know this information. Okay, I need to, in step 2, find a conversion factor using the conversion table in Google Classroom. Find a fraction that links the units you have to what you want. So you're going to go to week 16 in the Google Classroom and open this table. This table has all the units you're going to need for your dimensional analysis problems. I'm looking for one that links inches to centimeters. So I know it's a length, it's a distance, a measurement of distance. So I'm going to look in the orange, and sure enough, it's the first one. 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So this is my fraction. It's either going to be 1 over 2.54 or 2.54 over 1, depending on where I need to cancel out units. So let's remember this and go back. So 2.54 centimeters for every 1 inch. Step 3 says, set up the conversion factor so the units cancel. Units cancel when they are both on the bottom and the top. So I have centimeters on the top. I want to cancel centimeters because I'm trying to change the unit from centimeters into inches. I want centimeters gone. That means if it's on the top already, I need to put conversion factor with centimeters on the bottom. So I'll start there. 2.54 centimeters, making sure it's on the bottom because I want to cancel this. So I'm going to highlight it to keep track. I have centimeters both on the bottom and on the top. Then the other half of the conversion factor. I need to fill in this fraction still. Okay, the other part. Okay, the other part is 1 inch. Okay, you can see that Inches is only on the top, it is not on the bottom. It does not cancel. It stays, which is what we wanted, right? We want inches in the answer. So now it's set up. Check that the units cancel that I don't want, and that the units that don't cancel are the ones that I want, like inches. So I see that it's left over. I think I'm good to go. I'm ready for step 4 because these units cancel, the units check out. 4 is solve. Multiply across the top, then multiply across the bottom, and then divide the top by the bottom. So I'm going to do that here. 45 times 1, I might just put it in parentheses to help me remember. 45 times 1, we've got 45 on the top. 1 times 2.54, just to remember that number for the bottom, because I'll eventually divide. It's 2.54. So I'm going to have to divide 45 by 2.54 to get my answer here. So I'm going to bust out my calculator, which is on my smartphone. So 45 divided by 2.54, and my final answer is going to be 17.71. So I checked that my units canceled. Centimeters is on the bottom and top, so centimeters cancel out. Inches is only on the top, so inches is left over. That's why it's the unit for my answer. So what do I know now? I just did the math to say, you gave me a length of 45 inches. The equivalent to that, in centimeters, 45 centimeters, the equivalent to that in inches is 17.71. So although it's different numbers in different units, if I measure out 17.71 inches and 45 centimeters, they're exactly the same. And I just used dimensional analysis math to convert from one unit to another, kind of like translating from one language of measurement to another. Let's do one more example here and make it more complicated. So I'll clear this out. Next problem I'm going to do is going to need 2 conversion factors. How many kilograms are in, let's say, 10,000 milligrams? All right. Step 1. Identify the units. What do I have? What do I want? I can see that I have milligrams. Oh, I didn't mean to. I can see I have 10,000 milligrams. I'll just keep that red. I'm going to try and cancel that out. I'll put the unit that I'm canceling it with in red. I want to get to kilograms eventually. I've got what I have, what's given, and what I want, the answer. Find a conversion factor that links the two. Well, here's where it gets tricky with this one. You're going to see when I go to the table that there is not a conversion factor that links kilograms and milligrams. There's nothing. But I bet I could find one that has kilograms going to something and milligrams going to that same something. So let's look. Okay. I see that I have 1 kilograms, grams. You can see that I have one that links kilograms and grams. And down here, I see that I have one that links grams and milligrams. So I'm going to need both of these to ultimately get from kilograms to milligrams using the unit grams in the middle. Because I know how many milligrams are in a certain amount of grams, and how many kilograms are in a certain amount of grams. If I translate into grams in the middle, I can ultimately get to what I want, which is kilograms. So let's do this one. I found my conversion factors. Now 3. I need to set up the conversion factors so the units I don't want cancel out by being on both the bottom and the top. And ultimately, I just want kilograms on the top left over. So my conversion factor was 1,000 milligrams, which I'm going to highlight in red because I see that I'm canceling it out. It just takes a minute for my computer because it's slow. 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. All right, so if I did the math right now, the units that wouldn't cancel that I'm left over with are grams. But I want kilograms, so I got more work to do. I have that other unit conversion factor from the table, and I remember it. It was 1,000 grams equivalent to 1 kilogram. So I've just canceled out grams. I'll highlight that in a different color just to keep track. Oh, I just changed the color, but that'll work too. I'll just remember blue is canceled. Yep, that works. Okay, looks like grams cancel out. Milligrams cancel out. I'm left over with just kilograms. So now that I've checked that the units cancel out that I don't want, and the only units that don't cancel out are the ones that I want, now I'm ready to solve. Number 4, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, divide those numbers. So I like to just put it in parentheses to keep track, and this is where it's easier to do it on paper, I think. Okay, 10,000 times 1. I don't need a calculator for this. 10,000 times 1 times 1 is going to be 10,000. Anything times 1 is the same number. 10,000 is the number on top. Okay, now I need to solve for the bottom. Multiply across the bottom. 1,000 times 1,000. You can use a calculator. I'm just going to keep it highlighted blue so it doesn't slow down my computer. That should be 1 million if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check with my calculator. 1,000 times 1,000. Yes, it's 1 million. It's in blue for whatever reason. I'll put it in parentheses so I don't forget. Okay, now divide the top by the bottom. So 10,000 divided by 1 million. So 10,000 divided by 1 million gives me, in the end, 0.01 kilograms. So what did I solve? I just figured out that if you gave me a weight of 10,000 milligrams, it's the same as 0.01 kilograms. I just translated to a different language, and this time, because there wasn't a conversion factor that directly linked them, I found one that both of those were linked to, kind of like a middle stepping stone. Okay, so in this video, first of all, I apologize for the slow connection, the slow computer, but this video showed you how to use dimensional analysis math to convert from one unit to another using conversion factors.